how do you think this latest album differs from your previous work musically?
So the last three records, including this one, it was Blurryface and then Trench and now Scaled and Icy. And as I look back on it, I realized with how special Blurryface was for us as a record that really, we saw a lot of our success during that album cycle. I think that Trench, I wrote that record in a reaction to Blurryface. I wanted to prove something, and Josh and I needed to show that we were, I guess to explain who we were, because the story of Blurryface and how many people started to listen to it, it became a lot different than what we always envisioned. So Trench was kind of a course correction, trying to compensate for how large Blurryface got. Now I think that looking back on Trench, Scaled and Icy is a reaction to Trench, almost like we keep on going back and forth. And so I think each record builds on the other, not just with the story, but with Josh and I's intention on how are we going to compensate for what it is we had released previous. And so I think that our records greatly influence each other. How it differs, I might have a different answer for that question several years from now. But for now, I just know that it's still very fresh. And I know that in some way it is influenced by our previous record for sure.
What goals are you trying to achieve with this new album?
As much money as possible.
I was gonna say success.
Treasure, like I'm talking about not just dollars, like paper dollars, like giant gold, like chunks. Like we can get like gold from this record. That's what we want, so that we can build castles and bridges.
Yeah.
Josh, what are you looking for?
Some position of power in the world. Maybe a king. If we could become a king of something, I think
become a king of something.
And yeah, I think if this album could get us kingship.
If we can become royalty.
Yeah.
From the record, that's what we would want. Sorry, we sometimes we just make stuff up. It's better than the real answer.
And honestly, the more that we continue to create music and put out albums, the more we can tour. So ultimately, that's at least one of the goals with every record that we write, is to be able to tour and play the shows, and hopefully play them with you guys. So that's a real answer.
All right. With K-pop being so big around the world right now, more and more mainstream artists are lining up to work with all of these K-pop bands, groups, and whatnot. So, would you guys ever consider collaborating with a K-pop act in the future?
Oh, man. I mean, first off, yes, if they would want to. I mean, man, that genre is kind of like king of the world right now, and that's really exciting. And I hope that. I remember thinking when we went over to Japan and Korea and just a lot of the Asian culture right away, our like I said before earlier, that was the first places that we went outside of our country. Most bands would maybe go to, I don't know, Canada or maybe Mexico and maybe Europe or the UK, but for some reason our journey led us into the Asian culture, and it was something that greatly impacted us right from the beginning. And so I remember when K-pop first started happening, Josh and I would nudge each other like, hey, this is like, we saw pieces of this when we went over to Korea. We saw it kind of happening before it really became the global hit that it was, because we found ourselves going over there right at the beginning stages of it. And yeah, so we have a lot of respect for the genre. Obviously, BTS is the biggest one that I know of. I know that there's probably many other bands and groups from that genre. And really, we'd be down to work with any of them. I just think that it would need to be organic. It would need to feel natural. And hopefully, if that were to happen, then it would end up with some sort of collaboration. But I never want to force anything. Josh and I, we usually don't collaborate with artists. It's usually our default because we really want to start a relationship and a friendship with that person and connect before writing songs, because writing music is such an intimate thing. But if it were to happen with a K-pop band or a group, that would be fantastic.